Good morning, friends. Welcome to our Sunday Life Dharma. My name is Lars Won, and I've been attending this temple since 2018. We are also happy you could make it this morning. Today, our temple friend, Frank Keith, will share his Dharma Talk on the importance of deeply feeling grace, a way to transform our practice in our lives. But first, let's start our practice with the reading of the essential dharmas of daily practice together. Page 11. The essential dharmas of daily practice. 1. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. 2. The mind is originally free from delusion, but delusions arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the wisdom of our true nature by letting go of delusions. 3. The mind is originally free from wrongdoing, but wrongdoings arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the precepts of our true nature by letting go of wrongdoings. 4. Let us replace disbelief, greed, laziness, and ignorance with belief, zeal, questioning, and dedication. 5. Let us turn resentment into gratitude. 6. Let us turn dependency into self-reliance. 7. Let us turn reluctance to learn into willingness to learn well. 8. Let us turn reluctance to teach into willingness to teach well. 9. Let us turn lack of public spirit into eagerness to serve the good of all. Now please stand up, either be in front of your mat or behind your mat. We will get ready for some moving meditation, which today will be some easy Shaolin Qi Gong. Now please stand up and move your legs hip width apart. Your knees are slightly bent. We are stand erect. Our tail is pointing downwards. Our chin is tucked in. And make sure we're having roots growing from our feet right behind the ball of our foot. If you're on your tiptoes, you lean too forward. If you're on your heel, you're leaning too far back. Right behind the ball of your foot. Settle your mind. Find your dantian, which is about 2 inches below your navel, 2 inches deep inside. This is our breathing center. Let's breathe into our dantian. Expand our arms a little bit when we're breathing in. And we're breathing out. Bring our arms together. Pointing our hands together. Breathing in. Bring them all the way up, chest tight. Folding our palms downwards. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. In. Out. In. Out. One last time in. And out. Your palms and dantian. Breathe in, relax. Continue normal breathing. palms pointing towards each other, our fingers. Breathing in. This time we're pushing our energy all the way up. Look at your fingers. Breathing out. Bring the palms to our sides. Breathing in. All the way up. And breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. Collect your palms on the dantian. Continue breathing. Relax. Are we breathing in? One arm comes up, the other arm comes down. We're looking over our shoulder on the arm that's down. We're kind of twisting, looking behind us. The other arm pushes up all the way to the heaven. Our other arm pushes down to the ground. We're breathing out. Our arms come parallel to the side. Slowly twist to the other side. Now the other arm comes up and down. Twist to the other side while we're breathing in. Breathe out. Slowly rotate, breathing in. Push heaven, push earth. Breathe out. Turn to the other side. Breathe in. Push heaven, push earth. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Back to the other side. Breathing in. And breathe out. One more twist. Breathing in. And breathe out. Bring your palms back in your dantian. Continue breathing, relax. Now let's step out to Mabu, a little bit wider. Put your hands on your hips. We breathe in, we twist to one side. We're like in a Qi Gong, and then we arch back, slowly and gently. We're breathing out, we fold our torso forward until we parallel to the ground. Come up front, twist to the other side. Breathing in, arch back. And breathe out. For the torso, twisting back to the other side. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let's do 2 more rounds. Breathing in. And out. In. Out. One last round. In. Out. In. And out. Bring your torso to the center. Stand back up. Bring your feet back hip width apart. Hands in the dantian. And relax. Now the last exercise for this morning. We're breathing in. Our hands rotate around our torso, behind our back. We look behind ourselves gently, only as far as you can. We're breathing out. We're folding forward, whatever at the waist. Parallel all the way until we collapse. Bring your arms, just let your arms dangle. Breathe in, go slightly in your knees. Coming back out, lifting by your shoulders. Stand up straight, put your hands on your chin, breathe out. Again, breathe in. Hands behind our lower back, arch back. Breathe out, lean forward. Collapse your arms, let them dangle to the ground. Breathe, slowly go on your knees, breathe in. Get lifted on your shoulders. Stand up straight, hands on your chin. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Keep on breathing, relax. Now breathe in, palms facing upwards to the side, joining our palms above our head. Breathe out, bring our palms to our heart center. Breathe in, and breathe out. Slowly drop your hands to the side. Thank you, friends. Now please get ready for a bowing practice to the Dharmakaya Buddha Fourfold Grace.
Stand right behind your mat. And position your mat like a half-inch board.
With gratitude, I bow to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite source of marvelous existence. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of parents, ancestors, and everyone who has given me life and nurtured me. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of fellow beings, embracing the truth of interconnectedness. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of laws, which guides us to develop justice and freedom through Dharma and universal principles. Meditation is simple and easy. Anyone can practice it. Please take time to find your most comfortable position on a mat or bench or in a chair. Wiggle and release to release any tension in your body. Then gently rock back and forth until you are balanced and settled, like a peaceful mountain. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, release any tension or uneasiness. Relax and gently bring your focus to your lower abdomen. Allow yourself to settle into belly breathing. As you breathe in, your lower belly gently expands. When you release your breath, your lower belly gently shrinks. Our lower belly is the home of our whole body. It is the storehouse of our vital Qi energy. We call it the Danjan, our Qi energy field. Take a moment to breathe deeply from your Danjan. Settle your mind and focus there. As you softly breathe in and release, gradually strengthen your lower back and open your chest and heart. You may notice your spine adjusting and straightening. As you feel strengthened and centered, align your ears with your shoulders and let your shoulders melt down away from your neck. Tuck your chin in slightly. Let your eyelids relax and drift downward to their most comfortable position. Enjoy the sensation of your arms and hands relaxing. Now bring your awareness to your tongue. Place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, right behind your two front teeth. When your tongue rests there, pure and clear saliva may gather in the mouth. This is a delightful sign of cool energy ascending. Smile at your calm and clear spirit and swallow. If your face or body begins to itch, simply observe the itching and let it pass. If your legs ache unbearably, you may change position very slowly and quietly so that you maintain a calm stillness and honor the silent practice of those around you. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not play with them. As you exhale, let them float away like clouds, or invite them to settle down and meditate with you. Continue to bring your awareness back to your Danjan abiding breath. When your mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused and at peace, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation. You will be free from the distinction between yourself and others and the limits of time and place. We are grateful to sit quietly together, finding the still point within. May we be here now, deeply aware of our ever calm, ever alert spirit.
Yongju, page 4. Yongju, prayer chant. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. Prayerful word peace. Grace of heaven and earth,
grace of parents, grace of fellow beings, grace of laws, O Dharmakaya fourfold grace, may we take refuge in Dharma and be filled with compassion and wisdom. May we transform delusion into wisdom, greed into generosity, resentment into gratitude, discord into harmony, and hatred into compassion. May all nations grow and benefit mutually. May the strong help the weak, and may the weak Dharma. May all those who have died from world conflicts and disasters be delivered through all obstacles and be at rest. May there be peace throughout the world, and may all beings enjoy tranquility and happiness, living in their original true nature. This we pray with our whole hearts.
Sutra chanting, 일원 쌍바오 in Korean and in English. You're welcome to join us chanting anytime, whenever you feel moved to join us.
Page 6. Page 9. 이번 성과 일원의 사가 사마디 beyond words and speech, gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, and lost the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened masters, unenlightened people, and sentient beings, till one manifests as both permanence and six realms of existence, progressing or regressing, with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore we unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after Won the Dharma Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies deeply, knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, and receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain the great empowerment of Won and become one with the nature of Won.
Today, our good temple friend, Frank Keefe, will share his Dharma talk on the importance of deeply feeling grace, a way to transform our practice and our lives. Let's practice deep listening as we welcome Frank.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share some ideas about the importance of deeply feeling grace. My journey to Won Buddhism began, like so many wonderful things in my life, by following the lead and encouragement of my wife, Delia, and I think many of you know her. And 5 years ago, with her encouragement, I began attending services and also began attending online courses, particularly during the pandemic. And those of you that know me online may have seen my name as Francis, but my friends call me Frank. By way of background, professionally, I'm a clinical psychologist, I'm a professor at Duke, and my career has really been devoted to understanding the different ways that people cope with persistent pain, particularly pain related to diseases like cancer and arthritis. And the goal of that work is actually to develop treatments that can help reduce not only pain, but the suffering, the pain-related suffering that occurs in so many people. And part of the reason I've been drawn to Won Buddhism is I think it does provide insights into understanding pain-related suffering and also in ways to reduce that suffering. The thoughts I'm going to share today really came from my involvement in the Turtle Dharma course, which I took last winter with Reverend Qi Gong. And that course really helped me recognize the importance of emotionally connecting with grace. In the very first class, Reverend Won Gong shared a quote from Master Sotasan's writings, and it read as follows: "Deeply feeling and knowing the content of the grace we have received from heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, and laws, we model ourselves wholeheartedly on the way of indebtedness." So looking at this quote, I was struck by the fact that Reverend Won Gong had underlined the first part of it, that is, deeply feeling and knowing the content of grace. I kept reflecting on that, and she explained that knowing the content of grace, what the content of grace is all things in the universe. And I think what this underlining emphasizes that an important part of our practice is reflecting on the ways that grace has manifested itself in our lives. And for some of us, it involves making a list. This is part of gratitude practice that many of us engage in, sort of counting our blessings. But the part I kept coming back to in this underlining was the part about deeply feeling grace. It just really struck a chord with me. And I just found throughout the rest of the course, I kept coming back to that deeply feeling grace. And when I look at the whole area that's underlined, it strikes me, you know, it's one thing to intellectually acknowledge, to count the things we're grateful for, to say, yes, this grace has occurred to me. It's one thing to do these countings and kind of intellectually approach it. It's quite another to actually deeply feel grace and to authentically appreciate and connect with that deep feeling of grace. And one of the things I pondered throughout the course and continue to ponder, and it's the reason that the title of my talk today has a question mark on it, is, can this really make a difference in our lives? Really just focusing on deeply feeling grace. And I want to share 3 questions I've been pondering that are stimulated by this. And the first question actually came up during the course, and Reverend Won Gong asked something like, under what circumstances are you most likely to deeply feel grace? In Xing, my mind went to a really difficult time in my life. I had lost a loved one, and I kept getting emails and invitations from a friend who had suffered a similar loss. And he'd say, well, let's meet for coffee. And it'd be 2 weeks, and I'd get another email or a phone call. Oh, well, let's meet for coffee again. And what was so interesting when I reflect on that time, I can't actually tell you what he said to me or what we did, but it was his presence there that was an incredible feeling of grace, that produced this incredible feeling of grace. And I can't tell you how much a difference that presence made and how it continues to inspire me even to this day. So I think this example shows that grace can come from harmful circumstances, and life difficulties can really open up spaces for us, special opportunities to really connect with grace. And I've always felt in my life, I don't know about yours, but when I think of growth that I've experienced, I've learned and grown much more from the very difficult things that have happened in my life than from a series of successful things. Let me give you a second example. I have a very vivid memory. My wife may even have a more vivid memory of the night my first son, Daniel, was born. My wife went into labor the day after Christmas, that evening. It just so happened we lived in Boston. They had just experienced the worst snowstorm in 100 years. And we're trying to drive to the hospital, which was 30 miles away, and make sure that we get there. And it was challenging. It was dark. It was cold. There were snow drifts and snow piles that we had to negotiate, but we did make it. And Dan was actually born early the next morning, and maybe about 1 or 2 in the morning. And it was just, being there was just an amazing, amazing experience. And actually, it really hit home because it was the same hospital I was born in, which was a treat. But I still remember coming out, it was probably 2 or 3 in the morning, to my car, which is parked right next to this lake. And the air was cold and crisp, and I looked up into the sky, and I've never seen stars so bright. It felt like I could almost touch them. And my heart was just filled with this incredible feeling of joy and the opportunity for this child and so on. So these two examples remind me it's really important for us to take time to recall moments of grace, not simply to list them intellectually, but to actually connect and savor with the feelings that occur. Remember those. So the first question I said, under what circumstances? That's one to ponder. Here's my second question. How do things go differently in my life when I'm able to deeply feel grace? And talking to Won Buddhist, she said, you know, deep feelings with grace, they can be positive or negative, but in a way, they're actually a gateway to the threefold study. And this is actually, when you think about it, kind of interesting. So what's the first element of the threefold study? Cultivating the spirit. And the Buddha, of course, had this analogy that we're on a boat and we're rowing across the water and we're trying to reach the other shore, which is enlightenment. And Reverend Won Buddhist shared that, well, you can actually think that this deep feeling of grace, it's like a strong wind behind the boat. It's kind of pushing you. You're rowing, but it's pushing and it's really helping you. And this is very different than just struggling along and rowing on your own. And I think this is a very powerful analogy when you think of it that way. And I'm just going to pause for 10 seconds. Think about a time that you've meditated shortly after a period where you've really deeply felt grace. And just think about, for a moment, what was that meditation like? I'll just give you a few seconds to think about it. For me, those meditation practices have been very, very special. So what's the second part of the threefold study? It's an inquiry into human affairs. And can deeply feeling grace actually motivate that part of our study? And I think we have a very recent example. So how do we react to mass shootings? We've just had one. Terrible. I think so many of us, we feel a sense of despair, we're depressed, oh, not another one. And sometimes we become overwhelmed by those feelings. And in a way that we become a slave. We end up being dragged along by the feelings, not doing anything, just feeling so pessimistic. But alternately, sometimes, and some of us have been able to use those feelings, those negative feelings, to actually energize us, to start inquiring more into what are the causes of these shootings? What are the consequences? What does that mean? How does my understanding and helping others understand this, how can that actually change things? So what's the third part of the threefold study or practice? Deeply feeling grace can actually influence our actions. So I'm reminded of the quote, we actually heard it last week. Why is it that we human beings do not practice the good even while knowing the good, and do not put an end to evil even while knowing the evil, so that we forsake the tranquil paradise and fall into the perilous sea of suffering? So deeply feeling grace can be a strong source of energy. So consider the Black Lives Movement. It was chugging along, there was a lot of momentum, but think of what happened, how that movement was energized by the anger, the outrage, the deep feelings that occurred following the release of the videotape of George Floyd being killed. And how that led to action, nationwide protest, an outpouring of support for the Black Lives Movement, and ultimately very much increased awareness of the role of racism and greater support for efforts throughout our country and even in other countries for efforts, policy changes that could reduce stigma and impact racism. Okay, that was the second question we got into. What's the third question? How can I increase the likelihood I'm going to feel grace, to have moments of grace in my life? I saw the Zen proverb the other day, which many of you know probably. Obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. Okay, and I had to smile when I read this, and I immediately sent it to Won Buddhist because it reminded me of her. And it reminds me of preparing for this talk. And I was saying to Kathleen, you know, many probably also had this, you know, I really have second thoughts after having agreed to do this, and my wife knows I've had those thoughts, and she said, you're in very good company. So one thing I think I've learned as I've reflected on this last one, how do I get things to, you know, these moments to occur? Sometimes they occur, these moments, when we least expect them to. So I want to introduce you to the recent member in our family. Her name is Rosie. Whoops. Her name is Rosie. And we got her at 8 weeks old, and she was 8 pounds at that point. And I can tell you, we waited a while to get here. And we were telling, I'm sure some of you here, she's coming, and everybody's going, are you really sure you want to do this? And then it got a little stronger, and people saying, you must be really crazy. And I started to wonder, were we, you know? But what we found is the moment she came into our lives, we were overwhelmed by the joy that she brought into our house. Everything is new to her. This is a piece of marvelous existence, you know, and I think the thing that's been striking, again, least expecting the level of joy, is how this has spilled over into many areas of her life. Now, I will admit, this is not without its challenges. And I will spare you those details, but I'm sure if you want to talk to Delia afterwards or talk to me, we can share that. So in closing, I think, and this, I continued to think this throughout the class, I was like the student stuck on the first slide. In Won Buddhism, I think there is a special place for deeply feeling grace. It connects with so many things, so many other aspects. And I think if we deeply feel grace, it can revitalize our meditation practice, it can guide our inquiry into universal principles, and it can energize our actions. And grace arises at moments often that we least expect them. So encourage yourself, I encourage you to put yourself into those moments. And the final question that I'd like you to think about is, how will my life be transformed if I allow myself to deeply feel grace? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank, for reminding us of the importance of acknowledging and allowing strong emotions. Some of us tend to shy away from those, both positive and negative. But you have, with this in-depth inquiry, you have really helped us better understand how to deeply feel grace. Thank you. So now, folks who are online, it's time for you to silently contemplate or share in the chat your reflections. And here, pair up or triple up, given how many people we've got here, and share with people next to you your feelings about this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
enhance your deeply feeling grace energy by thinking about it, by talking about it, by deeply listening to your friends sharing. Thank you. Thank you, Frank, for your very powerful and insightful talk. And he's been contemplating on this talk since the total chart course. How many? Almost a year. In gratitude, big applause. Today, I feel deeply grace more than ever because I have you. This room is full of energy. And anyone first time here today? Raise your hand. Wow. Let's see if I have your names here. I try to, and one thing that I'm working and living in America is trying to learn how to say your name right. Kathy. Oh, am I looking at the wrong page? Okay. Bailey, welcome. Anna, hi. You look very familiar. It's the first time, are you sure? Richard. Hi, Richard, welcome. You look like a Santa Claus with this. We have Sune, S-U-N-E. How do you say your name? Sunny. Yeah, you smile, looks like a sunny smile. We have Sandy, Jessica's mother. Sandy. Hi. And Jessica. It's wonderful to have a mom and daughter together. And we have sorry, reading handwriting is another word. Sorry. S-T-E-R. Raise your hand, anyone that I didn't address your name first time. What's your name? Zelia. Welcome, Zelia. And you? Tama. Did I say right? Yes. Tama. Welcome. And we have two new friends. Oh, Corey. Welcome. Big applause to our new friends. Also, we have friends driving far away from Winston-Salem. Alexa. And I feel extra happy because I have two friends driving all the way from Kentucky. Would you mind standing up? Because I often see them on online sessions. And Jennifer, welcome. Because when was it? Was last Tuesday evening. I said, are you going to come visit us open house? And then she said yes, and I didn't know actually she was going to come. Happy surprise. Well, we have an exciting open house day. So this festival days will be more festive if you have a more relaxed mind and body. So why don't you, we all together take a moment to rest. So lay down on your back, recline, or make yourself comfortable, however position you can find. Hands rest on your lower abdomen. Panjan, storehouse. Let's relax our whole bodies. We feel happy, delightful feel rise and fall of your belly, the more you relax your body, the more you come to relax your mind. Now let us gently wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers, take a moment to really stretch, happy. That's something, any movement that is most helpful and beneficial for our current state of bodies. I love psychology. When I took some psychology-related classes, the first thing that I learned, the word psych means mind. Is it true, Frank? Psych, mind. And because Buddhism is all about mind. It is the book, The Principles for Training the Mind. We are about to have a book club, this wonderful book, in a week. and you can join in person or online. So there are 3 options: morning, actually 2 options: evening, Thursday evening, 7 p.m. online or 7 p.m. in person, right in the temple residence building. And if you cannot join all the time, you can read on your own pace and join whenever you can. We will go slowly, reading every line together, so you don't have to feel worried about, oh, do I have to read that thick book? So I hope you will join us. And we have some more announcements.
Thank you all for practicing with us today. My name is Zoe. And as Reverend Won Gong was saying, today is our annual fall festival and open house. It's happening this afternoon from 1 to 5 p.m. It's going to include a gift shop, a Korean food court, mini classes, including meditation, introduction to meditation, Qi Gong, Dharma Hall experience, and an arts and crafts activities for children. And at 3 p.m., there will be a piñata. And after this Dharma service, you're welcome to stay and enjoy the temple gardens. And the open house food court will open early at noon. And we have vegan and gluten-free options. And you're welcome to purchase lunch and then stay to enjoy the open house activities. The teen meditation schedule is now moved to the first Sunday of the month. So teens, we look forward to seeing you next Sunday, November 5th at 10 a.m. in the residence. And we really appreciate your kind donations. They make a huge difference to us. There's an offering table in the foyer, and you're welcome to donate via Venmo as well. And you can also support us by shopping at our open house gift shop, which is full of wonderful treasures from Won Gong's trip to Korea this summer. And open house volunteers, please stay here immediately after the service ends to meet with Reverend Won Gong and get updates for this afternoon. Now let us bless each other with our morning prayer song on page 13.
Dhammakaya Buddha, full of grace,
I begin a new day in your presence. Today full of health and with peace of mind. May I walk along the path of the Buddha. Dhammakaya Buddha, fourfold grace. I begin a new day with your grace. Today gratefully and with gentle words, may I live in harmony with all those I meet. Dhammakaya Buddha, fourfold grace. I begin a new day with compassion. Today making the world a more loving place. May I do all that I can for one world.
Thank you all for your practice this morning. We say in Korean, 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Let's wave our friendly hands to our friends, to Mr. Sony. Through the little door, we wave to many, many friends, the cyberspace.